Just finished service this afternoon. Want to discuss with Christians, want to discuss with children of God, Christ ambassadors. When you talk about Christ ambassadors, talking about people representing Christ. Every child of God, every Christian is a Christ ambassador. Every Christian is a one. Once they see Jesus, they see you. Every child of God. Yeah, in another way, they are called the light of the world. Every child of God is a light. Every child of God is a light. And in Nigeria, there are many Christians everywhere, because there are churches everywhere, ambassadors everywhere, meaning there's many people everywhere representing Christ. The question is, are we truly Christ representatives? Are we truly ambassadors that we are called? Are we truly Christ ambassadors? Are we truly carrying the light which we are called? The answer is no. In Nigeria, everywhere is darkness, no light. Why? Because the people that are supposed to shine are living in darkness. Light came into the world, but men prefer darkness. That's the words of Jesus. Ask a children of God. See every people everywhere testifying to God's goodness. God has given me car. God has given me children. God has given me money. God has given me. Well, the truth is that the true testimony of a child of God is living right. The real testimony of a child of God is living right in God's eyes. Not really about what God has given to you. Those ones are extras. Those ones are jara. When we embrace God, those ones are jara. That's the truth of the matter. So the question is, are you a Christian? Particularly Nigerian Christians. Nigeria, look at the way everything has turned upside down. Things are no longer the same. Everything turned upside down. Yet Christians everywhere, everything turns upside down. People living in darkness in a country that have how many millions of Christians who are supposed to be the light. We need to start asking ourselves questions. Are you a Christian? The true measure of our Christianity is in our living right, in our righteousness. Are we Christians involved in corruption? I want to talk about corruption, falsification of figures, involved in office manipulation. Are you Christian involved in office manipulation, involved in corruption? Allah is a taboo. Are you a Christian involved in election rigging? It's a taboo. Election rigging is a taboo. The things that happen in Nigeria is terrible. They will organize an election, rig the election, get there, you may not even see anybody. They will rejoice and go home that God has done it for them. And the next 1 week or two, you see them in the church giving testimony. Testimony of what? Allah is a shame. It's a taboo. Don't get involved. Remember, that's a day of God's anger. There is a day of God's anger. Don't get involved in foolishness. You are a Christian and you're involved in extortion. Police, road safety, law enforcement agents involved in extortion because they want to make money. It's a taboo. Lord, don't get involved. Don't get involved. There's a day of God's anger. People are crying and giving you money. And you, child of God, you are joining them. Please, let's separate ourselves. If Christians can separate themselves, you see light in this country. You must separate yourselves. You must teach your brethren, you must teach your children to separate themselves so that we can start seeing light in this country. Are you a child of God living in immorality? Child of God living in immorality is a taboo. It's a no-go area. Allah. Every form of immorality, fornication is a taboo. Adultery is a taboo. Child of God living in immorality is a taboo. Don't get involved. Allah. And that's why people keep doing it, because they don't see it as a taboo. When you take something as a taboo, a no-go area, you don't get involved. If you know that you don't get involved in immorality, child of God shouldn't be getting involved in immorality, you don't get there. Are you a Christian worker collecting bribes? There's no justification to that. You're collecting bribes to do your work. Allah, it's a taboo. Don't get involved. Christians sitting on people's file is a taboo. Don't do it. Yes, they will be sitting on people's file and be praying for God to give them their own. It's a taboo. Don't get involved. Your lecturer extorting money from students, it's a taboo. Don't do it. Stop doing it. It's a taboo. Are you a Christ? Are you a Christian trader? Christian traders? They come gather in the morning, pray in our markets. Immediately they complete the prayer. Next thing is wrong scale, lying and wrong scale. It's a taboo. Don't get involved. You are not part of it. Are you a child of God? Dressing to kill, dressing to attract men. Separate yourself. It's a taboo. Don't dress stupidly. Don't dress stupidly. The way people dress now is not acceptable. There's going to be a day of God's judgment. People dress to kill. Whom do you want to kill? It's a shame. You're a child of God. How do you serve? Every child of God is called to serve. Every day we sing that we are first, not the last. Head, not the tail. Yes, being on top. That means you are there for service. You are there for service. But what kind of service do we get in Nigeria? Eye service. Crazy service. Unacceptable. It's a taboo. Not acceptable. Separate yourself. There's going to be a day of God's judgment. Don't be caught on that web. To be ashamed. Are you a Christian denying the poor justice? Denying justice. Particularly to the poor. A child of God. It's a shame. It's unacceptable. Allah. I remember the song we used to sing, taken from Matthew 25:40 in the Catholic Church then. Jesus said it in Matthew 25:40. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. When I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me to drink. Now enter into the home of my Father. Jesus stated this in Matthew 25:40. This is one of the greatest criteria to make heaven. Being just to the poor, being just to the weak, paying attention to the weak. That is true Christianity. We live in a society that kills the weak. The winner takes it all. The winner grabs everything. They run with it. It's a shame. Allah is a no-go area. Don't get involved. You're a child of God. Your own judgment will be greater. Watching those things, being part of those things. Don't get involved. Stealing what belongs to everybody. Injustice to the poor. Don't get involved. The ones are preachers that are no longer preaching Jesus. Preachers that are no longer preaching Jesus, who are no longer preaching the good news of the kingdom of God. Hello. You leave the preaching of the good news, the preaching of the good news of the kingdom of God, and you're talking rubbish, preaching rubbish. Hello. It's a taboo. It's a no-go area. Don't be part of it. Finally, Jesus said in Matthew 5:10, every child of God is supposed to shine. Say, let your light, you're a light, you're an ambassador. Let your light so shine. Let your light so shine. As an ambassador, let your light so shine. Light has come into the world. Let your light so shine. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear.